Well, it's a nice brisk morning. We woke up to about 24 degrees this morning. Temperature's coming up pretty good as we go. We are out here. We have got our Daddy Pete's organic soil amenders coming in. And so we got a whole truckload here. We'll pan you around here in a minute and show you what we got. But anyway, here we go. Folks, here's Tiffany, the star of the show. She is out here this morning helping me get this unloaded, which I'm not doing much unloading. The driver will do the unloading. We don't have a forklift or anything on the farm, so we pay the extra to get their little forklift on the truck. And so here's what we got going on. They are going to line us up here for our Daddy Pete's, and then when we will move our potting soil we've been working out of and our last pallet of mulch back over here with it as we go. So Tiffany, you excited?
I am.
You looking forward to another year?
Yes.
You're looking forward to the quality of this Daddy Pete's organic soil amenders?
I'm excited. We've actually got a few new items this year that we're trying out, and a new barnyard fertilizer that's pelleted, and it's still organic, that we will be able to sell to our customers also. So we're pretty excited about it.
That's awesome. That's great. Well, one thing we missed last year, we had the chicken manure, which we still have again this year, but we wanted more of a little bit more of a garden type fertilizer, and that's going to be working out well. Tiffany, do we got anything else that's new this year that we're adding?
Yeah, but I can't think of what it is on the top of my head.
I can think of one of them. We added mushroom compost this year. So mushroom compost, if you don't know much about it, is spent compost. And when you say spent, it don't mean that it's no good no more. It means that it's no longer usable for mushrooms. So it's done its job for mushrooms, so now it can be used for any type of organic gardening. You can put it on top of your raised bed, mix it into your garden, do about whatever you want to with it. We've been using mushroom compost for years, and it's an amazing product. So anyway, we'll come back in just a second and let you see the forklift in action. All right, guys, you hear the forklift in the back. As you see, we have an empty truck, and we have Daddy Pete's. Tiffany, why don't you review with them what we've got and give them a little bit of a highlight of what you can do with it.
We have got our #1 seller, the Daddy Pete's raised bed mix. You can use this in raised beds, but you can also use it in container gardens. But it is great in raised beds, works wonderfully. It has all the nutrition you need. We've actually that's what we put in our raised beds. It continually supplies nutrition throughout the year. So it is a great product, great to use. Like I said, raised beds, containers, all that.
And that brings us to our next product, which is good for the next year to mix back into your raised bed to get your fertilizer and microbe level back up to where it needs to be.
Yep. This is our second bestseller, the Daddy Pete's Cow Manure. It is fully composted cow manure. It works great. We sell this stuff like bags at a time, just tons of bags. It's great for soil amender, to put it in your soil, in your garden, if you're putting it directly in the ground, raised bed mixes, that extra bit of all natural organic fertilizer is great to use on that. Heat Light is actually good for houseplants, but specifically what we use it mostly for is for seed starting. It's got that really, really soft mixture, and it's got the nutrients it needs to get it started. It's not something that you want to grow in full time because it's not going to keep everything going for like a year.
Yeah, it's as the name says, it's a light mix, so it's fluffy and airy, and it's also good for your plant packs, like 4-packs and 6-packs. If you're starting your garden plants and you want to do it directly in them, you can do it in them.
Next one is our Daddy Pete's Nursery Blend. This is actually what we use on all of our potted trees and shrubs. This has got, it's thicker, it has got more bark to it, but it keeps your plants, like your trees, where we graft our trees and save them for usually, 6 months to a year, and sometimes longer. It keeps what they need in there, not to get like wet roots, but keep the air going in there. So that's, and you can also use it directly in the ground when you're planting your trees too. But that's what we use specifically for containers.
Also be used for flower beds and plants and shrubs, of course, and in your garden. Yeah. It'll work great in your garden. It's great for breaking up that clay soil, and it's where it's got the chunkier stuff in it. It's got real good drainage that will work in flower beds for items that need the extra drainage.
We are hoping to have some patio peaches that we will be selling this year. Not sure when they're going to be ready, but keep them in a container, like on your patio, which is really popular in Johnson City. That would actually be perfect for it, is put that in there and then put your tree in there. So that's what you would be looking for something like that. The landscape mix is actually, what we use it for is mixing in it. It's got cow manure, but it also has got some aged bark in there. So we mix it in as a soil amender. And sometimes we actually put some of this in the bottom of our raised beds before we put the raised bed mix, just to kind of help everything and get the microbes going. And
it's a little bit less expensive product than the raised bed mix.
Right.
So if you're doing a deep raised bed, you don't necessarily need raised bed mix from the soil level all the way up. So you can start that raised bed with this. And actually, we'll show you in a minute. We start with something else. We do a few inches of something else down here, and then we do this, and then we finish the top half off with raised bed mix.
And this is also good if you're wanting to mulch and fertilize at the same time, because it's going to have your cow manure and it's going to have your pine bark mulch in there. So it's
great product. I mean, it really is, and it's organic.
Yeah, all of the Daddy Pete's are organic. So when you buy the Daddy Pete's from us, you can be guaranteed with our USDA certification that they are also organic, because this is what we use and this is what is approved from the USDA organic program for us specifically. So the soil enhancer, this is a must when we're planting trees. This goes in the soil. We have, our soil around here goes from clay to hard as a rock to perfect and everything in between. So we use this when we plant our trees. We dig our hole and we actually mix the soil enhancer up with it, but it just gives those roots a little bit more aeration in there.
Breaks that clay up.
Yeah, breaks that clay up. So, and that's actually just aged pine bark fine. So it's a little bit finer than what you would have in some of the other products.
Now, another place this is good, Tiffany didn't think to mention, is this is good to use in your blueberries and strawberries.
Yes.
Because it's pine bark, and pine bark drains very well, and pine bark is acidic. So this is excellent for your blueberries and for your strawberries and anything that's acid loving. I guess it should work well for azaleas and rhododendrons. Yeah. We've never used it for azaleas and rhododendrons, but they like that. They like that acid also. So this is an excellent product for that, and we will be using probably a pallet of this to plant our blueberries that we're putting in the ground this year.
Yep. We've got potting mix. So if you buy our vegetable starts, this is what you're getting. This is what we use for our vegetable starts. It's got great nutrition. It's actually got the aged pine bark fines. It's got the cow manure, perlite, dolomite lime, and gypsum. All will keep everything with the nutrients that it needs to keep growing, and keep it light and fluffy still. So that's what we use once we start our seeds and we transplant them to a bigger pot. Most of our pots will be in 2.5 inch pots this year.
We use the potting mix, and is it the nursery blend? We use whichever, I can't think which one it is. We use both of those. It depends upon what the product is we're potting, which one gets used. But yeah, and it is excellent, excellent. And it's got, like, I think I interrupt you, but it's got gypsum in it also. Yep. Now, this is something we're very excited about this year.
We have always wanted to sell a fertilizer for our customers, and we'll be using this too to see how it works. But it's a 222 mix.
So you're not going to burn your plants with that. That's amazing. A 222. It's a 10-pound bag, so it's easy to carry, but you're not going to burn your plants with a 222.
It's a pelleted fertilizer. So you can
And
buy
organic.
these, yeah, you can buy these in bags with not having to deal with like a 50-pound bag. And it's a more compact fertilizer. So we're interested to see how this is going to work, and our customers about it.
And most home gardeners, really 2 bags is all they're going to need at the most, and maybe 1.
Right.
And they can use this in their flower beds, they can use it in their raised beds, they can use it in their garden.
And it's a 10-pound bag.
It's
so
10-pound bag, so it's
back.
easy to deal with.
Next, we got the mushroom compost from Daddy Pete's. We have never used their mushroom compost, but love mushroom compost in our gardening.
We've used it for years.
Yeah, we've used it for years, but decided since we were all Daddy Pete's now, we would go ahead and do the mushroom compost. These are smaller bags. These are half the size of what the other big bags are. So they're
It's a 25 quart.
Right. They'll be easier to handle too, but the mushroom compost is just great fertilizer.
Most of the stuff is either a 40 quart or a 50-pound bag, or 2 cubic feet, blah, blah, blah.
Planting mix. These are actually, you've got, you use this when you're planting your stuff. You can build your beds with it. You can soil condition with it. It's got composted cow manure and aged pine bark fines. So it's a little bit different from some of the other items that have some of the same ingredients in them, but they're all just a little bit different for whatever you're looking for.
And this would also be excellent for your blueberries and stuff when you're planting them in late winter or early spring. You wouldn't want to do this dormant because the fertilizer could push some growth, but right now we're getting ready to be in late winter, and that extra little bit of composted cow manure in there give your blueberries a little bit of a kick along with the pine bark fines.
We are hoping, I think it's February 8th today, but we're hoping this leftover snow is about all that we get, and we're looking towards the beginning of spring. So
yep.
Kickin' Chicken, we started this one last year. It is your composted cow manure, but it's got the extra kick of chicken manure in it. So it's going to have nitrogen in it, which will be great for growing your greens and for anything you're wanting with green growth. If your tomato plants, are growing, producing fruit, but they look a little sad and they need more leaf or more green to them, this is going to be what you're going to want to put on it. But specifically, we love this on our greens, our lettuces and so forth. Anything that we sell, spinach, kale, brassicas it's great for, all of that, because it's going to have that nitrogen that you need. So.
And looking here, if you just want to see, this is a little bit different than what's up there, but you can do it in bulk. We used this a lot last year, but I hope y'all can see that. Your total nitrogen is 1.5%. And then your available phosphate is 1%. And your potash is 1.5%. And then it tells you that where the nitrogen is coming from, 35% of it. So, it's a 1.51 to 1.5, which is closer to, calling it even 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. But this is all natural. And in case you wondered if it mattered to you, if when you get into 20 and stuff like that and your 10-10-10s, those are chemical fertilizers.
Right.
Now, if that's what you want to use, I am not downing you for it. But we haven't used chemical fertilizers since
2012, the year after we moved.
Yeah, it's probably 2012. Mm-hmm. The first year we was here, we put down some 10-10-10, and that's been the last time we've ever used it. And it's because we feel like that it's not as good for your garden in the long run. It's great for the short run, but it's not as good for the long run. It's not as good for the environment. So we have went to organic and natural. And this is a great choice for a good mild fertilizer that's not going to scorch your garden. And we probably went through about a half a pallet of this ourselves last year to a pallet, and our customers bought quite a bit. I hope they loved it as much as we did. But we'll be using a combination of that and the barnyard fertilizer this year, along with cow manure, the composted cow manure, and some mushroom compost for what we're doing this year and in the garden, and it should work out quite well. Tiffany, got anything else you want to add?
I think that is it, except for we did not happen to get any hardwood or any of our mulches on this order, because we are going to place another order probably in another month and get some of the mulches coming. We've still got about a pallet of some of our mulch from last year, but we'll get some fresh mulch and have that probably in the next 4 to 6 weeks or so.
It's not quite yet mulch season yet, so people like doing that right before spring or in spring, so we don't want it just sitting here. So we're going to give it another, Tiffany said, 3 or 4 weeks, and we'll place our order. Usually they get it to us pretty quick once we place it. So if you're looking for mulch, and if you're needing a lot of it, give Tiffany a call. Email her, contact her through our website, give her a call. If you need a couple of pallets of something, we'll be glad to work something out for you and get an order placed especially for you.
Yep.
Our hands are a little bit tied once we get it here for inventory as to how much we can do with you. But if you're wanting to buy it by the pallet, we'll be more than glad to try to work out something with you if we can pre-order it. Like I said, once it's here and it's inventory, it's kind of hard for us to do, but we're going to be placing a truckload here shortly. This is, like Tiffany said, around February the 8th, so about the end of the month, we'll be placing an order. So if you are needing something, get those orders in quick, because once the truckload's full, we can't get nothing else on it.
Right.
So we can only get one truckload at a time. So anyway, that's all, and we thank you for watching. See ya. God bless you.